Okay, I'm just going to do Lost Ancient High Technology. Brian Foster, Chris Dunn, the Kemet Institute, Nassim Harriman, DTTV, Mystery History, Lost History, Uncharted X. All of these very large channels are really saying the same message over and over again. Rather than go it, and they'll often bring in the argument from authority, but experts have proven it, or experts say this. Chris Dunn he's basically the go-to guy from Lost Ancient High Technology through to Ancient Aliens. He's the expert that you must rely on. I don't care if you're an expert. If I can do something and you can't, you're not an expert. So that's just the basis of it. But diorite, it's hard stone. Andesite, they'll even bring in black copper, black granite, okay? Diorite, andesite, schist, lust, all of these other stones are still ranging somewhere between 6.5 to 7.5 on Mohs scale. There is not a stone in existence that was being used in ancient construction that this does not work on. So if you hear diorite or andesite, they're basically basalt. Well, basalt and granite, they're both, let's say, volcanic rocks. They're both very hard, and they all have the same hardness. Hardness is not an issue. It just means you need something harder. So granite's a very tough stone. You know what's harder than granite? Sandstone, or it's equal hardness. That's another key in Mohs scale, or Canoop scale. Any scale of hardness when it comes to grinding or cutting. Like cuts like. If I take some dust from a red granite quarry and I use that as an abrasive on red granite, I'm going to cut it. If you ever hear Mohs scale, Canoop scale, and you can't cut it because of these scales. Firstly, wrong, and usually completely out of the ballpark wrong, because they're really talking about comparing chisels on different stones. So steel versus copper chisels, for instance, and in that case, Mohs scale's not even something to be brought up. Okay, anyway, okay. I just have crushed sandstone here. That's all that I have. That's the key to it. This has been known for ages, whether you're cutting granite, whether you're even cutting metals. You're not really cutting, you're grinding. You're using an abrasive to cut. So if everyone, Uncharted X says, but this is a grinding action, not a cutting action. No, they're all grinding actions. They're using abrasives, so to polish, to cut, or to drill. It's the same now, it was the same before. Nothing has changed. Only they've attached high-powered motors to the machines, so the work's done much quicker compared to the old method of doing it. Chicken bones, okay, that's one of the best ones. That's, old Ancient Aliens, even sort of Chris Dunn, how did they do it? Well, chicken bones. Well, okay, what's even softer than chicken bones? So back in the days, I would want a steel sword, and before that, I'd want bronze. Before that, I'd want copper. Before that, I'd want stone or something made of bone. What's even weaker than bone? PVC pipe. There's your PVC pipe. Just your standard plumbing, or using for a conduit of some sort. That's all that is, PVC pipe. I just sticky taped it on the end here. If you're curious, these bits of tape, they're just so that I can convert my drill to a larger diameter. So that's the only reason there. I was going to cut them off, but why waste it? So that's just spacers for larger drill tubes. And now I've just, because the PVC and the copper are basically the same diameter, so I've just stuck that on there. That's all this is. Piece of granite, red granite no less, PVC tube, pipe, and some crushed sandstone. That's all I'm using. I like to start with a wooden guide. Obviously I'd be drilling, on a large slab of granite, not a small offcut. So I would just get a piece of wood, drill a fresh hole that fits that holds that in nicely, and just have someone stand on it, and I would just have some clay on the bottom as a seal to stop the water and the abrasive mixing around. I just use a piece of of wood with this blue tack, we call it, poster putty, just yeah, that sticky stuff for putting up posters and such on fridges and walls. Okay, that's usually more than strong enough, but just to be sure, okay, did I show? Okay, the granite has no hole, no marking, so there's one hole and there are no markings on this granite. You can shine a light all the way across. It's smooth, it's polished, the entire surface. So it's all in one shot. There's my granite, no pieces on it, no markings. Now, I just don't want it to move around. I don't have someone to be standing on another big plank, so just to make it a little bit more stable. Of course, they didn't have duct tape, but I'm just, you know, I'd have a larger plank, I'd put a weighted stone on there, or, you know, if there's someone not doing anything, come and stand on this for 10 minutes. Okay, now we have our piece. Yeah, that's the hole I'll be drilling in, using nothing but sandstone and a PVC pipe. Where's the drill? That's the drill hole there. Put in some abrasive. Just to put in a little bit more, just to fill up those holes underneath. There's my water. That's right in front of me. The lubrication method is different. You can do it dry. I believe this is a better method. It also affects the way that the striations are formed as well. There is a difference between the dry and the wet method. So if you want to replicate, especially the striations, for instance, on Core 7, a famous one that's often always referenced, make sure you do it with either water or oil as a lubricant. Okay. 300 is 5 seconds. So I'm going to start drilling. Where's my... That thing's already spinning fast. It's going to be easy. Just need a drag. If you want to load up with a little bit more abrasive to start off with. Be enough to start, and so now I'm going to drill, and I'll be counting well, up to 300 in drill time, so probably a bit less minutes, so it's going to be more than 5 minutes, but I'll be counting to 300. We can calculate the drill time off the video footage anyway to know exactly how long it is. And I'm going to use PVC pipe, just crushed sandstone, and I'm going to drill. So whether I was using steel, whether I was using copper, whether I was using bones, or in this case plastic or titanium, doesn't matter, not at all. It's the abrasive that counts. Now titanium but tungsten is very hard on Mohs scale, so tungsten really you wouldn't need the abrasive. It doesn't matter whether it's PVC, wood, bone, steel, copper, bronze, whatever, it's all going to work the same. So let's drill, and we count to 300. Make sure I get my drill lined up. I like to have the handle of the drill opposite this point because it's slightly heavier. And now away we go. Thirteen, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, that's how I'll be counting. I've counted up to 20 so far. And as I'm getting used to this slightly the different height because of a PVC, I'm also being a little bit gentler at them. Anyway, I'll go to higher RPMs, and let's see what I can do, say 20. Ready? So we'll take this long sleeve shirt off. Okay, we're up to 40. Okay, I'm up to 50 now. I can see that this tube, anyway, that'll be good enough. If you want a really perfect circular core, you need to either rotate your position, or in this case just rotate the stone. So I'd change that and rotate it 45, 90 degrees, so 90 degrees. And keep going, so 50. Okay, that's 75 of 500. Just feeling around. Okay, I want to add some more abrasive. Especially at the start, because you want to load up the part underneath the guide. Okay, 95. If I would have done this again, I would have. This is starting to move and wobble around a bit. It's going to affect a little bit, but it's not going to kill us. Okay, 95. I'll just change it now. So again, rotate 90 degrees, just to make sure you're keeping your core all nice and circular. I don't like that, but let's keep going. also, so the waste gets pushed up over the side. I actually had someone say like the waste would get stuck in there. No, it's, you know, you got an open side there and the pressure just pushes up the abrasive from the inside there. $150. Uh, 175. Still, you know, the drill has not worn away significantly. It will, but that PVC is good 3 minutes so far. Get the drills a bit flippy there at the end. That'll work. Let's count, it should be the next 50, so we're at 200. So I've done a full rotation of his stone, keeping it nice and circular. Of course, this isn't going to work because but it's the PVC. It's not the beauty of a cut for this demonstration. Okay, that's something just short of or just after 250. Because of this, I can see it like it's distorting the drill and all of that, so I'll do it again. I don't even feel the side is being cut. The wood and the abrasive has cut a notch into the side here. But I do have to fix that drill, so let's just do the reveal. My skizzles. Go. Was it 2 feet, so 4 minutes in, because of the way the drill was wobbling. It's not as well. If I'd been using the proper the copper tube and been using it properly, the result wouldn't have been much in advance of what we have here. And just with a piece of PVC. PVC cuts granite. Now if I was to keep doing that for roughly, because it's 2 sheets stuck on one another, top of one another, well, I'm going to do a better speed test, but basically in 2 hours, so 4 hours the whole thing, and about 2 hours for that part, whether I was using copper or the PVC pipe to cut. So it's I don't know a better, simpler way to explain it, but I've cut granite just with sand and some PVC. So I don't know, it'd be about a millimetre in there, hard to say exactly, but we've definitely cut into the beginning of the granite. That was, I counted to 240, so roughly around 4 minutes of time. I was planning on counting up to 500, so you know, yeah, 200, so 4 or 5 minutes of, we can do basically a millimetre of granite with nothing more than crushed sandstone and a PVC pipe. So it's not the copper, it's not the steel, it's not the tungsten or the andesite or the diorite. Like will cut like, and whether you use sandpaper, whether you use copper, it's actually that they're soft and flexible means they get embedded with the abrasive, so they're actually better in that so-called weakness of these materials, actually what makes them so good against granite. But it's not what you cut with or against, it's the abrasive. It's not the PVC that cuts, it's the sand that's caught between the PVC and the granite. Because PVC and copper are soft, the sand will embed itself in there, you know, turning themselves into, you know, sandpaper, whether it's copper or PVC, and that's what does the cutting. This is true now. All the modern, you know, granite machines for polishing, drilling, cutting, this exact same principle. They rely on the abrasive. Even tungsten might be the exception, but tungsten is so high on the Knoops and Mohs scale that, well, it's still, it's the grinding, the abrasive action that does all of that. There's no getting around this. These are just facts. In this short experiment, I would, what's a million, you know, what's 2 times 0, what's a million times 0? Whatever that number is the more that I've done than people who are selling books and charging ridiculous amounts of money to take people on store pointing at stones. You want to pay? Oh, if you give me $6,000, I'll take you around the world pointing at stones. There's a stone. There's a stone. Let's insert impossible somehow. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, but that's cut. No, you can't. That's ground down to a precision flat surface. Well, you cannot do that by hand tools. Well, here it all is. Yeah, you've got nothing, boys. You know, and the one experiment that you do rest your hat on is a giant dog turd. It's fake. It's as fake gets. So yeah, challenge is open. Get yourself some PVC, crush yourself some sandstone, get out and cut some granite. Do the impossible. You can do these things. You absolutely can.